It'll be great. It'll be great later when I read the text that you sent me after with another MLB thing that we're doing. But this MLB thing I want you to do right now. We don't get excited yet. Win totals have dropped. Now I just went in and I filled the initial ones have come out.
Oh, I haven't even gotten to that tab yet.
Just wait.
Okay.
I need you to do something for me though, and I need you to do it live while we're doing the show right now. As I am.
You mean like right now while we're live?
Yeah. I screwed up the color formatting. Like I don't know how to get the green on the ones that trust me.
Oh, like the conditional formatting or whatever. Yeah, the data validation.
Can you jump in and fix it?
Yeah.
Like literally right now, I know it'll take you 2 seconds.
And
there's one that you're gonna see that you're going to get very excited about, and we could start by talking about it very soon.
Oh my God, I saw it right away.
And you see it right away.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It's pretty big. A shout out to
oh my God, this is such a stupid line.
Also, as you're fixing this, I fucking nailed these because I did an updated number today. I had my 11-8 number, and then I did another number based on winter meetings and things that I've seen what teams are doing. I nailed these. Like,
so you must not have any validation rules. You must have just done this like, I don't know. I'm just going to do this manually real quick, and then I'll fix it later. But
well, it's weird because some of the bad ones are going but anyway, Dad's Bet Baseball, and we are definitely talking baseball. We're going to talk we're talking about presented by Hall of Fame Bets. Use code DADS for 25% off. We use it all the time. We're actually going to show you a little bit more of it later. We're going to do hockey and baseball today. We're going to talk a lot about baseball because we're very excited and we have reasons to. We'll do a football show later this week. But for those of you that cannot watch, well, we don't even have this on screen, but CJ and I have been talking about win totals and talking about players that we're identifying. We placed our first future of the year. I did it at Circa. It is in my desk over here. It's a paper ticket that you and I did. And I'm asking CJ, who is the tech side of all this. Thanks, John. I see happy birthday messages in there. I'm asking CJ to help me on conditional formatting on these because I had it last year and did it. And then we're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about some baseball. Then we have Scott Seidenberg coming in 15 minutes. And he's going to talk about his database and better days and some hockey angles. And then we're going to literally live lab for people. But we wanted to get this started early because CJ and I could wax about baseball for hours and win totals dropping. And once he
I missed last week too. That was fun. I've had a hole in my podcast side of my life the last couple of weeks. So
wait, hold on? So did you fix this?
I'm trying to put it in right now, but for whatever reason, it's not letting me add the highlighting stuff. Hold on, I'm gonna try another thing that I can do here. But you know what I'm gonna do? Here's what I'm gonna do. Hold on. This is.
I see
wonderful.
CG in there. That's
one of our. Here we go. This is wonderful radio right here for you people.
It's great. People are fine with it. People are more than fine with it. It's going to be
so
fine.
Weird.
So as you're fixing this, okay. I will start to talk about what.
Where do we start? Because there was a lot of shit that happened today. For free agency that we can dive into.
Okay, let's talk about a little bit of free agency. Let's talk about the win total thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, are you able to do it or no?
I'm trying to fix it. Just let's keep going. All
right, so the domino dropped. Schwarber's staying there 5 years, 150. It's being reported that the Reds offered 5. Orioles, despite everything that you have told me, seem to be linked in every single conversation as a team that was trying to do whatever.
Oh, for
they
Schwarber?
Offered 5.
Yeah.
They offered 5. That also makes no sense, by the way, for them to take him, but neither here nor there. Anyway, so that domino dropping solidifies what we know the Phillies offense is going to look like. That is, so I do not see a regression on that team offensively because of ballpark factors, just because this is prime years for these guys. I like the deal. He's a DH, so I'm not worried about him in the field. Like, he does what he needs to do. He is an elite hitter. He is a healthy guy. He has gotten better against lefties. He has brought down his K percentage. He has brought up his walk percentage. He sneakily steals like 15 bases a year if you want him to.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I did think, and the next domino for the Phillies is going to be a Bohm move. Possibly, I've heard some things linking them to Keller. I've heard some things linking them to Bubic, who I like. You know, I love some Bubic. So
you do love some
that
Bubic,
that has happened, and then I guess also we got Pete being linked to the Red Sox. What other moves did we get going on from the from MLB?
You mean the Mets losing their franchise closer? And
oh yeah, let's tell me about that. Let's go to your side. Does that matter?
So all right, I'm like, I think there's two ways to look at this. One way is that like this is a continuing trend that Dave, I figured out the conditional formatting thing, by the way. I just have to go in and update
I love
it.
You.
But
thank you.
All right. So I think the David Stearns effect, it's like he's already become this massively polarizing GM, which why wouldn't he be in New York? Like here, the downside is that he is already Brian Cashman, just has infiltrated the Mets front office. And like, I knew the I think I had texted you when Devin Williams signed. I was like, well, this is the clearest indicator to me that they're not getting Diaz. And people,
which also,
like, well,
by the way, I like that deal. I like his
me
case.
too.
I do too.
I would rather have Edwin Diaz as my closer than Devin Williams, but whatever.
Really?
Yeah, I would definitely still have. I mean, just because Diaz has, I've seen it. I've seen it like consistently on the Mets and in those types of situations. Now, for the contract that Diaz signed, I understand why they didn't want to give him that contract. And there's also like Diaz, have you seen the stuff where his velocity actually has like kind of dropped slightly year in and year? Like there's been a downward trajectory of kind of where some of his stuff plus has gone too. So the angry Mets fans like that are rioting right now, like I get, because it's like people loved Edwin Diaz here and he's Puerto Rican and like that means something in New York. But on the flip side, like, look, you've got to sometimes let some of these guys walk in order to save money in other areas. And like, I think Mets fans are just stuck on this idea that like, because Cohen's there, they're immediately going to be the Dodgers. And it took time to build, like, the whole point is they have to build a farm system and they have to sign younger guys, including they're building the team around Soto. They're not trying to like, we've got to just spend on everything this year in order to win because they have a 26-year-old Juan Soto. Like I think
people
Stearns
how
is
young
like fine.
Juan Soto is like Schwarber.
Yes. I think whereas like the Phillies, which I think you'll agree with this, like there had to be more urgency to sign Schwarber and bring him back and then, see what you guys are going to do addressing the outfield situation. But like, you don't have as young a player to build around in Bryce Harper than you do with Juan Soto. So I think that's where a lot of the Mets stuff is coming from, is I just think people are impatient.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, look, man, I mean, his Devin Williams' career strikeouts per nine is 14.1. He was at 13.1 last year, but that's because he was off like his highest since 2020, which we don't really count at 14 at he had 15.8 in 2024. He wasn't, you know what's funny? He wasn't even an all-star that year. And like all I care about from a closer, I care about your whip and I care about your strikeouts per nine. I can deal with the fact that he had his career worst whip last year.
Yeah,
I blame that he had kids. He had a kid the first day of the season.
I brought that up to my brother-in-law.
I think that's what happened.
Yankees fan, and he was like, "That's bullshit."
I guarantee
he's just a wimp. Like I'm like,
I just left my wife and kids for 5 days to go to Vegas and LA, and I was big winner, by the way, in Vegas. And shout out to all these people saying happy birthday to me. Thank you. I did very well in Vegas.
I know. I wish I could have been
one
there.
craps
I got rerouted to San Francisco.
It's fine. We will get there. But that being said, if you are traveling and doing something that you enjoy and your wife is at home with children for an extended period of time, I guarantee you're getting an earful and it's stressful.
Yeah.
And I guarantee, and that's his first kid.
I mean, look, the same. By the way, I think this player sucks. we've talked about him. Like JJ McCarthy, same situation. Beginning of the season, like literally the worst time to have a kid, especially is becoming a first time parent, and you're on a completely new situation with a new team, is at the beginning of the season. Like, not only do you have to try and adjust to the locker room or the clubhouse, but now you've got to go home and like you're also probably not sleeping when you go home because you're going to be getting up in the middle of the night and shit too. So, Devin Williams, you're welcome to come on the podcast at any point to talk dad stuff with us. But
I like him here. We also
the formatting is fixed, by the way. It looks beautiful.
Let me go in
there. Now we can have a real discussion on the win totals.
Okay, so we got a few minutes till Scott's gonna get here. All right, let's talk about this. Should I just get right to the punchline?
Let's do it. The
punchline is
it's dark green for a reason.
The punchline is that a team that you and I have said that we are very high on, and I've specifically said I was high on, and we've multiple times said this is what we think their win total number should be, is 10 off of market. I believe in my numbers.
Who also just got the number one pick today, by the way.
Exactly. Good call out, CJ. Paying attention on the hot stove. I'm in a victory lap here, and I think that my numbers are really good because look how many I nailed based on market, and the ones that like I adjusted. A lot
of Vegas zone 1.5s in there.
Yes,
like the 1.5 minus, which means you were pretty damn close.
Yeah, I was really damn close. And look, there are teams that I upgraded and teams that I downgraded since I did it a month ago. Team that I upgraded, your Pittsburgh Pirates. I upgraded. And the reason why is that I'm giving them a little bit more with Bubba being there all season.
Mm-hmm.
Having some of these guys, I don't know if they're necessarily going to be doing a let's churn these guys type of thing. I don't buy for a second that they're actually trading Skeens this year.
He's under control for way too long. And again, they've got,
and also they have the number one prospect in baseball.
I was literally just about to say, like Connor Griffin is sitting right there
really good
on the Altoona curve right now. So he's definitely coming up this year.
I could see that team being like the Angels last year, where it's like, oh, you're strangely competitive. And so I have them in the 70s. Who did I downgrade? Washington Nationals. Pretty big. I think that the Nationals are just going to churn them down to whatever and take away those pieces. I also brought down the Minnesota Twins. I took a lot of the teams that are linked to a lot of rumors of getting rid of their players and brought some stuff down. Like I'm sorry, I know that the deal with the Red Sox apparently fell apart for Joe Ryan, but Joe Ryan being part of trade rumors and being your best pitcher kind of downgrades you to a team. I think that's probably.
I find it hilarious that the Twins are like coming out and be like, "Oh, we were never going to trade Buxton or Ryan."
That's not true.
Those are our guys. And like, you guys have been floating Joe Ryan's name out for like the last 6 months, and also this is a team that's about to come under new ownership at some point. Like, just we all know what's happening here. Like, stop trying to pretend that you're going to be competitive.
So I do think that team could be like, I think the floor is way lower for that team. I think that team could
that's the biggest one that you're off market from from being lower on. That is the lowest on that team.
Yeah, my number. I have them at 65 wins, and their line opened at 71.5. Like, that's going to be an under for me.
Yankees 93.5 is
that's going to also be an under for me. That team's got like too many.
That team can still win 90 games, but that's 93.5 is high.
They were, but the thing, it's so weird how it shaped out. But Chicago White Sox, that's a bet. Well, I'm going to do at least a unit now. I will wait for other markets to open, but that will at least be a unit now. That will. A lot of these we're gonna do a ton of the win totals, but that's gonna happen. And the Baltimore Orioles, I am absolutely going to be.
It's so funny. These were the two teams that we were the most excited about. Yeah, the White Sox, the Orioles, and then I had the Marlins. You're pretty close, actually. Which, you know what though, in retrospect,
I actually raised their ceiling a little bit.
You did, but also I think we were talking about. You were like, how many wins did they have this year? Like, it was, and I was like, oh, like they won 79 games. So their win total.
Their Pythag is 72 though.
Oh, was their Pythag lower?
Their Pythag was, I put their Pythag on my sheet. Their Pythag was 72.
Interesting. Okay.
That team has wild variance in one-run games.
I'm still fine with 76.5 as the. I wouldn't play that number. I think 76.5 is actually probably pretty.
I think 76.5 is right. Like I think it's right.
I agree.
Like I think they're 70 between a 77. Like I think their ceiling is an 80 win club for me right now. But look, if you are linked to all these different things,
also, I wonder if that Mets number. So did you put this in before the Diaz news?
I put it in after the Diaz news.
Okay, so it's all right. So because I was going to say, I'm like,
I put it in like an hour ago.
If that number moved because of Diaz, I would immediately, that would be a bet for me. Like you can't adjust win totals based on. I'm sorry, like you just can't base them on a closer. Like
that's what, like I
way too much variance with that position, and also you can still. I mean, look at what the freaking Phillies did at the deadline last year. Like you got Duran. Like there's guys that are available every year to be able to go out and get. So
this leads us to our so for those that are listening, to get to the point, please wait for us to bet it. If you got to go bet it right now, if you're watching live.
Except the White Sox. That's a bet right now.
The White Sox is a bet. White Sox over is absolutely a bet.
Yes.
And so is the Baltimore Orioles. And I will probably be adding more. I just need other books to open besides Caesars because I can't just unload on Caesars. I'm just not going to do that. Even though we have Drake Baldwin money in there. So the other thing, there's a team that has a very low win total given how high you and I are on them. Would you like to discuss I will read the text. Okay. So you and I don't know why I'm doing my phone for this. I have it on my computer, but I said to you on, what is this? Ravens stink.
Oh, it's so funny. You texted me right before the show and said, let's start 5 minutes early because I've got baseball stuff and I'm going to bully you into it.
So here you go.
So that did happen.
Okay. So here's where it is. I don't even know where it is. I can't totally find it. Oh yeah. Saturday, I texted you and said, I found a pennant future with value for us. And you responded with a gif of I'm listening. And you said, wait, can I guess first? I said, of course. And you immediately guessed it. And you said,
nailed it. Giants, San Francisco Giants.
And then you said, damn, you really know me. And you said, you're my baseball wife. Of course I knew this. So the Giants. So first of all, there's no value on the AL on pennants based on at least how I quote power.
We're not getting our 40-1 price, unfortunately.
Well, look how short the Orioles are, and their win total is only 82.
Yep.
Tells you everything. By the way, again, here's our first Rangers buy of the year. We are also buying the over on the Rangers on this. That being said,
back from the dead
multiple times. This is the first time we're gonna send them off. Do you want to talk about on your end why you agreed with this and why you like this bet?
Yeah, I mean. So the Giants last year, so there's a lot of, for one, I like their roster just from a bats perspective. And like, they've got guys, you have Devers for a whole season. I know we've kind of like made fun of Devers a little bit on this show, but like, he's still a very productive hitter. He'll likely play first base, I would think, next year that they'll put him in there.
Unless some things happen.
Maybe Pete Alonso.
That's what I was thinking too. That's my Roki Sasaki of this year is.
So they've got that. So you're going to get a full season of Devers. Chapman was hurt for part of the year last year. We got to remember that
we almost hit his over home run total.
Yeah, almost. He literally needed one home run, I think, in the last 4 games.
He didn't get it. He had 10 games to get it. He didn't get it.
People forget too. Not that I thought that the signing was a little overrated last offseason, but like Adames had like kind of one of his career worst years. Like if you go and you look at, I'm just going to go pull up like his.
Oh, he did. He was terrible.
What was his WAR last year?
He was terrible.
Okay, so overall, by the way, he still had a 4.0 WAR, which that actually kind of tells me maybe I shouldn't trust WAR as much on some things, but. Like WRC plus,
he's in the field.
WRC plus wise though, like he was basically an average baseball player when typically he's like well above average. He's in like the 120s to 130s. So even if you see a little bit of some positive regression there, that's going to help them a lot. So I like there's guys that are due for some positive regression. I mean, you had Jung Ho Lee also, like he started off super, super hot. And
he's still our hit stuff, which we're probably going to get more value on again. We love that guy.
Yeah, no, I still think he's a great player. So I mean, I wanted the Mets to trade for him at the deadline last year, but so you've got Lee there. I think there's still some other things that they can probably do on I mean, they've got to maybe shore up a little bit of their left and right field, but the other thing is that you and I both talk about this all the time on this show, which is like, I want to buy into teams preseason that I know are like, I don't give a fuck that I'm going to spend money. And Buster Posey is absolutely one of those guys that is going to go out and he is going to make it. He is going to give a dumb contract, just like trading for Devers. But in the short term, that will help the team. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see, look, there's some smoke that Framber has possibly been, included in conversations. Like, we liked Shota possibly to go there at one point, but like there
seems to be a lot. Like, I know that Shota signed his tender, but like the White Sox seem to be linked to 1 billion starting pitchers.
Yeah. I mean, I said Shota. Obviously, we know he's
no, but he could. They could do stuff.
But I mean, look, you could get Suarez over there too, even though we think he's still a future Baltimore Oriole. Like, I still see another move for them to make on the pitching side, and that's still you get another starting pitcher, you get a Framber or someone else in there, then now you've got a very solid core of 3 starting pitchers. Plus, like, they like Birdsong, Landon Raup, like, okay, up and down season, but was still a good prospect. There's a lot I think that you can buy into this team, and I think it was plus. We almost got 21. It was
21 to 1 when I saw it. It got to 20-50. Yeah, I maxed it at a kiosk, and then Scott, who's coming in, I also told about, and he was with me when Matt Brown said, "I hate that ballpark. That's why I'm not going to back this early." But my whole thing is that when I looked at this, is that they are the same price as the Reds. And to your point,
crazy.
The Reds
they were a game behind the Reds, with 3 days left with the regular season.
Dodgers the oldest team in that division, or the oldest team in the league, and next to the Phillies. They're the oldest. So like, there's a lot. Like, so I downgraded the Padres. There's a lot of reasons why I think the Giants could take a step up. So, we will move to the ice, but to put a pin on this baseball conversation, we are Giants fans for this season in terms of our quote long shot. It's not lie long. It's a mid shot, 20 to 1. It's nice. We will do some other things, but that, and we're smashing a Baltimore Orioles over win total. We are smashing a Chicago White Sox over win total. And looking at this, we are also taking a under. Surprise on a
definitely
Yankees
an under on the Twins, and
we're definitely taking an under on the Twins. All right, bring in the second Scott. Scott,
what's going on? Your child, Scott.
Not my child, Scott. My brother, Scott. What's going on, dude?
Hello. Just sweating out some first period bets and be not happy with subpar power play performances. But what else are you gonna do? It's a fun Tuesday night, right?
Yeah, I heard the Jewish man from Alaska, Mr. Swayman. He had a save. What were you just sweating before you came in here?
Blues Bruins first period over 1.5 goals. It's 1-0 Blues, and they had Bruins couldn't score, couldn't even get a shot off on a power play. And then with about 3 or so minutes left in the first period, the Blues had like a 4-on-2 and just a point blank snapshot and just a great glove save by Jeremy Swayman. I thought for sure I was getting the goal right there. And where's the Jeremy Swayman that we saw the other night when we bet his over saves and the dude gets pulled in the third period?
I know.
Where's that dude?
Oh my God. I had a Swayman bet I don't know if it was that night, Scott, but I had one where it was I think his line was 25.5. And this guy has been averaging like 32 or something saves.
That defense is terrible.
And I was like, I put it in 3 different SGPs. And of course, the game even goes to freaking overtime, and he ends up with exactly 25. Of course.
Yeah, that was a frustrating loss last week because if they didn't pull him, he would have gotten the over. Easily. Because Detroit had enough shots in that third period that Korpiusalo got 9 saves or something like that. He would have, Swayman would have hit the over. They just pulled him after he gave up 5 goals. And of course, he's a brick wall tonight against the Blues. So Lost that bet. Still have plenty pending.
I have HOF over saves on that, and so we brought you in because I know you're getting ramped up for your hockey stuff. There's some things that you are extremely sharp at that I love on hockey. We're going to talk about under 18 bets, but that's not illegal, guys. It's actually the under 18 tournament. But I want to talk to us about Better Day and talk to us about your hockey database and just some of the things that you think that people should be looking at as they're getting ready to be betting hockey this season, because you are one of the people that I constantly will talk about with hockey. Despite sometimes you love the Rangers a little too much, but I have them for 100. I have them for 100 points this season, which is likely dead. So anyway, but tell everybody about Better Day. Tell everybody about like what you kind of are doing within on the hockey analytics side.
Although my Devils 17-1 to win the Stanley Cup from this summer is not looking good after Jack Hughes can't figure out how to use a knife at dinner. So I don't know. So
what a weird injury, man. What a weird constantly with that guy. But again, Jewish kid though. I love American Jewish kid. I'm super into him.
I bet 5 teams. I bet 5 teams to win the cup before the season started, and only one of them is from the Eastern Conference, and that was the Devils.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is one of them the Mammoth?
Is what the Mammoth? No, it's not.
I just did the Mammoth this weekend because I'm a big.
I don't hate it. I like Utah. They're a fun.
There's a goalie that can carry them. Anyway, tell us about the stuff, and then we're gonna share screen. We want you to show us some things if you can.
Yeah, sure. I can share the screen with you right now. Let's see if we can do that. We'll share the screen and we'll get the. Let's see. Get ready for Infinity Windows coming up. Let's do this one.
That's why
we're used to that on this program, Scott.
Yeah. Producer Spencer's here. It's fine.
So here we go. Yes. So this is the website, betterday.com. And it's a subscription-based platform. There's plenty of stuff that you can get for free, like our daily newsletter, right? Which, is basically going to be everything you need to know that gets you ready for what's going on today. So recap Monday Night Football, preview of what's coming up tonight, give out a play for the NBA Cup. We played the under that just came through. So you get plenty of free plays, plenty of stuff like that. We also have a live odds screen that updates during the games, and you can compare all 4 major books. This is all for free, so make this like your odds destination here. Scores in progress with the live scores, same thing, every sport, everything, all the scores, everything is adjusted live
too. I love it. It's so
and
good.
Then this is the best part is you can click on any game and you'll get the derivative markets, first halves, second half, quarters, team totals.
Yeah, this is tight.
And player props. You want your player props. You want your touchdown scores. You want your passing props. Everything is all one click away compared to DraftKings, FanDuel, MGM, and Caesars. So you got your 4 major online books. Everything there for you. One touch. You want to go NHL. You want to look at tonight's game. Let's see. Oilers and Sabres. Boom. You want to compare the lines. You want to compare the spreads. You want to go to the first period totals. You want some player props. You want to know who's scoring a goal, who's gotten assists. Everything is all at your fingertips. And it's stuff that you can find everywhere else. But my whole goal here on this website is to give you everything in one location. And that's like the databases that I've built here. So if you look at the NHL, I have a first period database here, completely interactive with every stat you need to bet on the first periods. You want the straight up record, home, away, over under records, home, away, both teams to score. You could sort by any team you want. You want to see how one team does. You can sort by a stat. You want to see how everyone does over under. You could just click on the things and say, hey, who's best in the first period? Or, hey, who's the best over team in the first period? Oh, wow, look, Boston. Now, here's the best part. Here's the best part about this. Yeah, Boston didn't do well tonight. Thanks, guys.
Didn't do well tonight, but they did. That's great.
Now, this is what's great about this database. So everything's all sortable, right? But you can click on every team and you'll get their entire game logs. And with the line in the first period, what the score was in the game, who the starting goalie was in those games, first period, whatever the line was, the over-under, how many shots on goal, penalty kill, power plays, whether they were on no rest or their opponent was on no rest, the time of the goals. You like betting goal in first 10? We have a log of all the time of all their goals. So you can do all your research here. You can find all this stuff if you just spent hours and scoured the internet, but this is all at one touch for you. Everything is all here, all sortable for you. One location to get everything you need to bet on the first periods in the NHL. Now, you like an NBA? Sure. How about this? First quarter, first halves. Same thing. First quarter ATS.
I love derivative bets so much. It's so great. It's such a fun market.
First halves in the NBA. Everything's all here. Same thing. Click on a team. You get their entire game logs. Everything you need to know. What was the line and what was the total in the first quarter? What was the line? How about their offensive and defensive rating in the first quarter? How about their offensive and defensive rating in the first half? How about the overall game offensive and defensive rating? Everything is at your fingertips here. My goal is to give you everything in one location so you don't have to spend all day looking for your stuff. You can just go to our website. You can bet it. Shout out Kevin Rogers, who does a great job helping me with the data. And we built this thing, and it's all interactive. It's all for our members here. We, of course, always have picks, and, everything's all sortable, so you can track our picks. Picks go out. We have a Telegram channel. We have different research articles that we send out. Here's some NBA Cup betting trends, our power ratings, the Trench Report, which has killed it this year in the NFL.
It's basically a better version of adjusted line yards. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and so there you have it. And there's obviously a podcast component to it that we do every single day, multiple podcast episodes a week, and get you ready for everything you need to know. So that's Better Day in a nutshell. I do a lot of hockey bets, and I told you, like, once college football season's over, that's when I really dive into hockey. Like, I'm still kind of in college football mode right now.
I feel like a lot of people are kind of like that now, Scott.
Not everyone's a degenerate like me who's just like going on no gifts and stuff like that, which is
exactly.
And NBA and NHL is definitely we're getting into prime NHL NBA sort of prop, and like, I'm sitting on my phone at 6:00. What do I got in tonight? So
yeah, the NBA doesn't start until Christmas, and the NHL doesn't start until the Winter Classic. So there you have it.
Well, one of the reasons when you were showing me on Saturday, because I knew you were building this, and you would show me one of the reasons why I like your stuff, and for those that are familiar with like what we're doing on Handigraphs, why it's a really good compliment to the things that you have. Like Handigraphs, like you could go and you could see Boston is 20-10, I think is what it said, or something. As to the over in that first period. We'll have a goalie stuff thing where you can see, well, how's this goalie performed over the last 180 minutes. And so there's a lot of cool stuff that we have that's a raw data end of red is good, blue is bad, that you're able to then take, and it's able to allow you to make sense of a lot of records, of trends, of stuff like that. It's a reason why I'm a big fan of the stuff that you kind of are building on there. And it's funny you're mentioning that not everyone's getting into NHL yet. CJ literally is the tech on our site, and he's built it. And I said to him today, I'm like, I feel like you aren't betting hockey as much as I am, and I made you build this product. And he's like, no, I could definitely do it more, but you're way knee deep in. Like, I have 7 gifts or no gifts, because I'm big on no gift. I'm big on that. It's just like, and it's like a Nerfy. It's an electric sweat. It's just,
if you want the stats, you can go to my database and you can see the time of every goal, so you can see, hey. And this is where, and Kevin, who helped me build this, right, we talked about the value of knowing when the goals have been scored is not just about betting the goal in first 10, yes or no, because there's also value in live betting the period overs or unders. And so let's say you look at one team and you see, oh, well, they're like at one point, I think it was San Jose or somebody, and this is just a rough example, okay? But they were like, it was like 9-2 to the first period over. Okay. But in all of their first periods, right, there was no goal scored in the first 3 minutes. Like the earliest goal was scored with like 3:30 in the period, 3:30 to go into the period. And so think about it. If you watch that game live and there's 3 minutes without a score, well, now you're no longer laying your minus 150, let's say, on the over in the first period. You might get even money. Or guess what? It might be minus 150 to over a half a goal in the first period. Like live betting these periods can be extremely profitable. And that's another way to just utilize the data of the time of the goals to formulate some good live bets.
One of my favorite bets, Scott, when I'm betting hockey, I think, by the way, live betting hockey, like hockey in terms of live betting, is maybe it's either that or football are my two favorites if I'm going to be betting live. But one of my favorite bets that I would play in the NHL, especially when I first even just started, was I go and live bet immediately every third period. I'd go, all right, team's down 1 or 2 goals. I'm just going to start taking live money lines. And I played that blind for like a couple of months and ended up still being profitable on it. But to your point, you can look at that kind of stuff and go like, all right, Does this team tend to score a lot more of their goals early in third periods? Do they score them later in third periods? Like, if you're going to be playing even just a puck line, does this team tend to be down by more than one goal later into the third period? So they might be more likely to pull their goalie. So which means maybe you're not going to be betting them for a money line price, but you're probably going to get a, plus 2.5 with 6 or 5 minutes to go at a pretty decent price live. So like even that, like just looking at like towards the end of the game, that also matters there as well.
And another great value point as well, and I know not a lot of people like to do this, but sometimes with these first periods, you get three-way markets and you get good plus money prices on the draw. And if you look at my database and you see the results in the first period and you see, oh, this team is like 9, 5, and 10 in the first period, well, more times, and then you look at like the both teams to score number and it's like very, very low.
I love that bet, by the way. Both teams to score, by the way, is such a fun bet in the first period. It's like 2-1 almost every time.
And you can track that on my database. We have the both teams to score numbers. That's awesome. The thing is, like, you can bet the draws in these periods. Even when it's let's say a team is down 1-0, right? I'll throw a little bit on the plus, like, plus 350 on a draw in the first period if I know that they have a high both teams to score number, right? And I think, oh wow, these teams tend to play even in the first period, and then you get that draw. Or with the underdogs, you take a plus a half a goal in the first period, and then you got the option of them. It's kind of like making a first 5 bet in baseball. You take the plus a half a run, right? If you're tied, you're a winner. And so I like doing that sometimes with a dog that I think has value in the first period.
Yeah, it's the big angle that I do on the end of the game is that if there was a heavy fave and they are either tied or down 1 goal in the third period, I take their puck line, which is usually an absurd number live, because usually pregame it'll be like it might be minus 110 or it might be plus 125. You can get it at like 3-1 if they're down a goal, because the reality of what happens for a lot of these teams, or if they're tied, I always do it, because what happens is it's actually incredibly rare that a lot of these teams win by 1 goal when they're that much better, because people pull the goalie with 3 minutes left in the game and then they just don't care. It's insane. So
I live bet totals. I live bet totals
nice
in those games, because if you get the tie, you know that you're getting 2 goals, right? And if you have the opportunity where you can get the empty netter, right, with 1 goal, but there's a chance you can get 2 empty netters, and there's also the chance that you can just get an empty netter and then the team that's losing scores, or there's so many different ways where you can get 2 goals late in the third period, or 1 goal in the third period and then 1 goal in overtime for you to cash a live over, where, so let's say it's a 2-1 game, right? Like, I'll play over 4.5. And a lot of the times, you get some plus money on that. And it's like, oh, well, you need 2 goals. It's not likely you get 2 goals, but there's a chance if the game's tied, you're getting 2 goals. If one team scores the empty netter, maybe there's a chance they get a second empty netter, or the other team scores a BS goal at the end anyway. Like, there's a lot of ways you can get 2 goals at the end of the game. So that's always a fun live bet angle for me. I love live betting, guys. Live betting is awesome. I mean, I do host shows called Live Bet, so I mean that's just what I do. But
it makes it easy, because then you can be watching it as I saw somebody make a terrible live bet in the Vikings game this weekend where the Vikings scored immediately on the scripted part, which, by the way, everybody's scoring on scripted, if everyone hasn't noticed. Which I think is teams are doing it by design so they can see what happens. But they said, oh yeah, well, Viking, now I want Commanders plus 4.5 at a terrible number. And I was just thinking, well, why don't you just bet their money line if you were that confident in them after 1 score that they're going to blow them out? It's just silliness there. I doubled down on the Seahawks at halftime when they were tied with, and then I don't think Atlanta scored again. It was awesome. This is all great stuff. You also are really good at under 18 hockey tournament betting. Please tell everyone when this is.
Yeah.
Tell us about international hockey betting. I want everyone to walk away with, oh my God, this is a crazy good angle.
Okay. So international hockey, and shout out the Four Nations face-off last year too, because that was just a lot of fun.
Four Nations was awesome.
We also catch that Werenski future, which made it even better, which is great.
Yeah. International hockey is such a great market to bet, because like it's what the WNBA used to be, right? Where it's a soft market that the books just don't have time to price it. Now like WNBA betting is much more difficult now than it was 3 to 5 years ago, right? Like there's people that have made careers out of betting the WNBA, and now like it's much more difficult now. I don't know if it's ever going to get that way with international hockey because the books just don't have time. Okay. The IIHF World Juniors take place at the end of the year every year, right? It's the day after Christmas is the first day of the preliminary round. There's NFL stuff going on. There's NBA Christmas. There's, the college football playoff, the bowl games. There's so much stuff that the books are worrying about. You think they're putting out an accurate line on Canada versus Latvia with a bunch of 17 and 18-year-old kids playing? No. Now, maybe it's going to be different this year. The tournament is in the United States. It's in Minnesota. It's the first time it's been in the U.S. in quite some time. So, like, maybe it gets a little bit more attention this year just because it's on U.S. soil. But the way that you can take advantage is by just knowing these rosters better than the sports books, because the sports books are just putting this stuff out based off algorithms, based off what their computers say. But if you know about certain teams or kids that maybe have been playing together for quite some time in academies or, through the international program, and if you know about some goaltenders that might have been first round draft picks, and like people might not know who the Finnish goaltender is, but if I told you he was the 9th pick in the NHL amateur draft, you'd be like, oh, he must be good, And I'm just throwing out a random example here, but that's just one way that you can handicap these things. I will tell you right now, so the rosters are starting to come out. Like Canada just announced their roster yesterday, and the U.S. still, like everything's coming out this week because the first games are on December 26th. There's value. Now, the U.S. has won back-to-back. No one's won like 3 in a row in God knows how long. And it's the first time anybody won back-to-back in like a long time. Canada did not make the medal round last year. Canada, like Hockey Canada, was in a bad place. And they have kind of revamped their youth program in the wake of the disappointment that occurred last season in not medaling in the World Juniors. I looked at this roster, and it is absolutely stacked. I would not be surprised now when the odds come out, when these rosters come out, like Canada's going to win this tournament. Like they got, you're talking about like first round picks and kids that are going to be, the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Like Gavin McKenna is on Team Canada. Michael Misa is on Team Canada. Igimla's kid is on that top
These
line.
guys we grew up with. It's just like
like literally, like this roster might be like we talked about the USA roster over the past couple of years, and the problem with and the best part about that is that everyone knew how good these kids were, but no one, like everyone watching hockey knew how good these kids were. Not the average sports fan didn't know how good some of the US youth talent was. Now that they're all in the NHL, everyone's like, oh yeah, these kids are awesome. Like the Trevor Zegrases of the world, like everyone's like, yeah, like these guys are awesome. Back when who's the goalie, Spencer Knight, who's now in the NHL. He was the goalie for Team USA for like 3 years in the World Juniors, and it's like, wow, this dude's like awesome. Yeah, he is.
I mean, they've legit got 3 guys who could probably start in goal. Like they've got, was it Carter George? They've got Ravensburgen, and they've got Ivankovic. Like all 3 of those guys could legit play on NHL rosters right now.
Well, there's a couple of
one of those 3.
There's a couple of them that are in the WHL right now that are putting up big numbers, and you're seeing, and that's the thing. Like, look at their numbers playing in these minor leagues. Like, look at some of these WHL or OHL numbers, and you're going to see like, oh, this guy's got like a 2.97 goals against average. Now when he goes and plays against a bunch of Europeans that aren't as good as the talent that's in the WHL, yeah, he's going to have a monster game. Like, yeah, he's going to be good. Canada's loaded. They're going to score a ton of goals. I love betting totals in this thing as well. They can't price it enough. They put the overs like a normal hockey game of like 6.5. Like Canada's going to score 7 in a game by themselves. So awesome. I'm very curious to see when the rest of the rosters come out and what these lines are start to set at. But based off the first roster that I looked at, which was Team Canada, and knowing how they took it, and I took that personally. They took it personally, not medaling last year. And especially with everything that went on with Hockey Canada over the past, year or so, right?
Yeah.
They need to save face, or, and so watch out for them. Obviously, Four Nations was big, but the IIHF World Juniors will be big. This upcoming Olympics will be big.
Yeah. Olympics coming up in February too. Are you going to have any data for that, Scott?
Well, the thing is, the rink's not done yet, and it's going to be smaller than an NHL rink, right? And now, how much smaller? It's not that much smaller, right? But it is going to be smaller. So the one thing,
if you're all NHL players and you're used to turning radius, it's going to be very different.
So the one thing that you have to do is you automatically throw out like any international hockey tournaments. Like, don't look at how guys have done in the IHF World Championships. The international rink is much bigger, right? So the closest thing that you can look at is last year's Four Nations face-off, because last year's Four Nations face-off was played on NHL rinks, right? NHL style size rinks, right? So that's the first thing, the only data point that you're going to have. Like, you can't look at how these guys have done in past world championships. Also, we just haven't had NHL players in the Olympics in, a lot of years. So I tend to look at guys that have had international experience, guys that have played together. Like, it helps if you have a bunch of players that are on these Olympic rosters that played together in the World Juniors and that have played together in these systems. They're going to do better when they're brought together. It's not a typical all-star team like in other sports where it's like these guys aren't used to playing together. Like, oh, they're thrown together with 2 weeks before the tournament and we don't know how they're going to bond. Some of these guys have been playing together since they were 16, 17 years old. And so they've been on the same teams. They've been in the dorms together. They've been together. They have that camaraderie. And I think that goes a long way into seeing the teams perform in these international tournaments. And so for what's going to go on in Italy, I think the smaller rink is going to help a bigger team like the U.S., but it can also change the way these teams construct their rosters. Like, don't be surprised if some of these other countries decide, you know what, we're going to take an extra defenseman. We're going to take a guy who's a little bit bigger, because if the game's going to be played in tighter spaces, they might not want some smaller, speedier guys on their roster.
It's part of why I'm like, we talked about this at dinner, but like, Matt Boldy, who was one of the last ads to the U.S., I think could be poised to just be. You could bet hits over on him. I mean, he's been with all these dudes forever, and he's kind of. I'm a Minnesota Wild fan overall, and just I love him. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I mean, the biggest problem is that the NHL does multiple breaks and they don't know what to do. And what they should have done is had like the Olympics, the teams that make the Olympics, and then consistently just start doing like Winter Classics during that time with remaining players.
This is the thing that nobody wants to say out loud. Okay. Yeah, the players fought for this. Yeah, the players want this. The NHL hates this. Okay. The NHL does not want to send any players to the Olympics. Okay. They don't want to stop their season. The NHL loses money during the Olympics. Okay. They lose money. Not only do they have to stop their season, and so they don't get the gates, right? They lose games in the schedule. They don't get the TV. They don't get those TV ratings for those teams being played or anything like that. But the NHL has nothing to do with the IOC. Yeah. The Olympic deal with NBC Universal is the Olympic deal with NBC Universal. The NHL doesn't see a penny of these broadcasts. Like, it's not like they're saying like it would be different if the NHL was like, hey, we're going to broadcast all of these games on the NHL network. Like, that's going to be cool. Watch the Olympics on the NHL network. No, they're not going to get a dime. They lose money on this, which is why they stopped sending players why they stopped it in the first place. The owners voted. Gary Bettman was like, yeah, you're right. We're not going to stop our season for 2 weeks to send players to the Olympics. And then, somebody gets hurt. That's going to suck. The best thing that they did for themselves was last year was doing the Four Nations face-off, because it was a compromise. Instead of an all-star, break, right? They said, no one cares about the all-star game anyway. Let's just do a tournament, throw these players.
It was so awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Throw these players a bone, and guess what? It's on our TV networks. It's in our arenas. We get all the money from this. We're going to sell jerseys and make a ton off of this stuff.
The ratings for it were
huge.
Amazing. And they're going to lose out on all of that here coming up for this year. So I think it's going to be interesting when they have to vote again to see if they're going to send players in 4 years from now. But I would pay attention. One of the bets, I mean, you mentioned Boldy as you wanted to bet on him or something. One of the bets that I love when it comes to the Olympics or any international tournament, blocked shots.
Yeah,
okay? You're going to be, they care about this. This is pride. This is country. This is playing for the name on the front of your sweater, not the back of your sweater. I will be betting blocked shots props for a lot of players when it comes to, especially the knockout rounds.
That's awesome. This is great, dude. Scott, this was awesome. Tell everybody where they can find you. Give out site, anything. I don't know if you have a code you want to give people, like anything like that. Tell everybody where they can find you and continue to do this, because now that once you get into it too, we'll have you on. Like, I think we're going to try to figure out our ways to do some power rating stuff to kind of give you guys some things and figure out ways to work together too. Yeah,
I would love it.
Tell everybody where they can find.
Because I did make a lot of money betting total bases props thanks to Handigraphs. So if we can translate that to some NHL props, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, dude, that's what we're trying to do.
Don't bet the goal score, just like don't bet the home run, Scott. There's better stuff that you can go bet.
There's so much better stuff we could do, just not Jeremy Swayman saves. You guys can check out the website, bettorday.com, bettorday.com. Like I said, the newsletter is free. You can just sign up and get the newsletter for free. You don't have to join a paid tier, but if you want the picks sent directly to your phone, if you want access to all of our exclusive databases and all of the research that we do, the trench report, all that stuff, you can join and become an insider or a premium member. The live odds page is always for free. You don't even have to sign up and become a member. You can just make our website your destination to get all of your odds and your player props and whatnot. And you can always follow me on Twitter. I'm at Scott's on Air, SCOTTSONAIR.
Killer. Scott, thanks for coming out, man. We appreciate it.
Anytime, guys.
All right, dude. Good luck today. I'll talk to you later. How pumped are you now to mess around with our website?
Now I'm like, come on, let's go bet some. Let's go bet some block shots.
Well, it's so funny you mentioned that, because that's one of the things that I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so
honestly, he actually got me super pumped for the juniors, because the juniors is like a huge deal if you actually like care about hockey, and the games are going to be played perfect timing, like right in that like holiday after Christmas, not a lot going on, and then you got the first week of January when you got the semis and the finals.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's also like during the break. Yeah, like during the break, it's going to be great.
That's what I'm saying. I'm dying for sports to bet on at that point. So.
Okay, so for those that don't know, this is your first time showing up. Here's Handigraphs. It looks the same as our baseball version, but right now we have the goalies, and I wanted to show people what I look at, and then mess around with Hall of Fame bets and show some things that are on Hall of Fame bets on the hockey side. Because again, this is a sport that apparently nobody's watching right now other than me and like Shreeds. And
definitely Streets. I know when Streets is watching, because he'll text me and be like, "Hey, I'm getting the loading wheel on the site."
I also tell him, I'm like, I can't do it. I'm not the tech of this. I'm just the brand. I'm the Ehrlich Bachman. You are the Richard Hendricks. Like, it's very. Like,
I'm the Steve Wozniak. That's what it is.
I like my Silicon Valley reference more, but
that's better. That's better. Yeah.
I definitely the Ehrlich Bachman of our business partnership.
Okay, you definitely are.
So here's one of the things that I've been doing for saves. I look at the last 120 minutes and how many shots against that they're getting, because look, if you are not facing a lot of shots, you probably don't give up a lot of goals. So a really good example right here, Bussy, whatever number, or let's go, we can go the other way. So Saros has seen, I like to look for an average of around 28 or 29 per game per 60, because what that means is that it gives you a margin of error. Usually if you have a saves number in the 20s, gives you a margin of error. But what I'm also looking for here is a stat that we have, which is rebound shots on goal against, called Reb Soga. And I sort by that. If you are constantly getting rebound shots on goals, it means it's just happening in front of the net. That could turn it into like 5 different saves. And a high danger against that, obviously that's more scoring chances against, but this is just vital if you're betting over or under on goalie saves. Like for the other side of this, I would have wanted probably the under. I don't like Skinner, but I'll use him for an example because the data is telling you this. But Edmonton's not been giving up a lot of shots in front of him, which is indicative of the defense, and he's not giving up a ton of rebounds. So I would want his under on his saves. I'll go to Hall of Fame bets right now. And as you can see, I was on there playing around with college stuff. Their trend section is just badass. Let me see what I got here.
First place I go every time I open the app.
It's great. Oh, wait, is this game? This game is actually. Has that game already started? or is it not? Let's see. The game hasn't started. Yeah, game just started. So let's see if they have anything. Oh, they don't have it up. So let's see if there's any games that are going to happen at 10 that I can use something for. So, or 9:30. Okay, cool. We have the Saros one. We'll talk about the Saros one. So I don't worry as much about their matchup grade, but I'm going to go to saves. They have blocked shots here too, by the way, which nobody else is counting. Nope. And it's awesome. Let's see. In fact, maybe we'll just do that. But I'll go through this and I'll look at saves and I'll go through, like, here's a good example. Like, here's Wedgwood. We can go like on Handigraphs. Wedgwood has been, let me do the last 120. We'll look at Wedgwood. They're like under 60, which is the key number that we like. He's not giving up a ton of rebounds, not giving up a ton of scoring chances. This, honestly, like, let me see. I would probably do the under saves. Yeah, look. And then I go to Hall of Fame Bets, and they have in the green, and he's done this in head-to-head against them. They have Wedgwood under saves as a play that they like. So I think I'm actually going to take that. I'm going to take that live right now. So that is just one way that I'm using Hall of Fame Bets to do some damage, along with Handigraphs Hockey. And let me make this happen. Is my location stuff going to work? It is. Scott Wedgwood under 23.5 saves. I did it because I saw it on both Hall of Fame Bets. Like, matchup says C+. That's fine for me. I don't care. Yeah. We used our data and it said, look, they're not giving up a ton of shots, and he's not giving up a ton of rebounds, which means the opportunities and volume are not.
I do like the high. You mentioned it too. Like, I do like the high danger stuff. We are on Handigraphs right now. Like, if you guys are familiar, like, using like Money Puck, Natural Stat Trick, there's a couple of different ways you can sort of come to the final number on high danger, low danger, those types of attempts. Right now we use, at least for goalies, the high danger stuff is like based on our expected goals model. So it's typically is going to be a lot less. So if you're comparing that to like Natural Stat Trick, just be aware of that. It's really just like, what are the highest probability of goals being scored? At some point, we're probably going to potentially update that. But I do think the high danger, really, honestly, low danger and medium danger, I don't really care about if I'm looking, but high danger, I will pay attention to.
Low danger, if it's really high, I care about, because that means he's making a lot of easy saves. It's usually correlated along with the rebound part. Medium danger, I don't totally know what it means.
It's all based on where the shot is. Basically, there's two factors. It's based on where exactly from the sort of polygon on the ice was the shot taken, and then at the angle that the shot came in at. That's what really determines a medium, high, or low danger type of shot. But really, the low danger, that's a good call out. Like, if you have a lot of them, it could be easy.
You're just picking up saves. Yeah.
But the one thing with high danger is if you have a lot of those, your natural inclination would be like, oh, well, that might be a good reason to, potentially bet an over goals allowed. But the other way to look at that is, if you're giving up a lot of high danger opportunities, then teams are getting into the zone and getting a lot of opportunities to get good shots off. So yeah, that totally typically means that your defense is not very good, and you're probably going to have more saves.
So tonight, this is a good example. I used Dallas and Winnipeg on this, and you see, like, look, a lot of times, because people are facing a lot of shots, but it's not tons of goals in all the grand scheme of things, you'll see red. They're making saves. But one of the things that I look at on ours is that we have the expected goals against. And since it's a proprietary on our end, like CJ put together how we're calculating this, I just look at, okay, wow. So these guys are giving up a ton of rebounds. These guys are giving up a ton of shots. And if I see double-digit high danger attempts in the last 3 games, that's an over. And so both of these are blue. I took over 6.5 goals at plus 110. They have 4 goals with midway through the second period in that game. So that's sort of a way that you can look at some of these things. And the inverse works well as well.
I think the first period splits for that stuff too, by the way, is really good. Like, if you're looking for we bet a lot of gifts, and
this was great. Dallas went up. I think Dallas had 3 goals in the first, or 2 goals in the first. And this is exactly what this is telling you right here.
And that's 120 minutes. Again, that's, we're only looking at the one period. So that's actually 6 first periods versus
that's 6 first periods. It's great.
2 games.
Cool, man.
Nice.
All right. Well, how you want to wrap this up? You want to talk a little bit more baseball? You want to just say goodbye and then dive in and start betting it?
I think I just want to. Well, one, I want to go get that wedge book bet in before this game.
Yeah, do it. Actually, you have a minute, so go get it in now.
I'm gonna go do that now.
Okay.
But no, man, I'm excited to talk some more baseball next week. I know, folks, for listening, we're gonna, I think, doing a Friday afternoon show. And we will be doing one. We'll be back to football on Friday. Well, we have a few more weeks of doing football stuff, anyways, and then it's gonna be. We're all baseball and hockey really after that. But
if people want to get on the website that are new here, HG Hockey, use it as a monthly code and it'll give you free access for another month. And then the site has, like, we're calculating our site rates based on some things for baseball that'll start in spring training, and
we will have a lot more news coming with Handigraphs in like the next month. I can tell you that. Yeah,
you see the QR code here. We love it. You just saw us use it. You just saw us use it to validate some bets. I think it works really well with a lot of things. It's good to have multiple tools. So use code DADS, and they are HOFapp.com, and they're been an awesome partner to us. So the takeaways that I want everyone to have are: Giants win independent. Go bet Chicago White Sox over right now, and go bet the Baltimore Orioles over right now, because those are probably our two favorites. And then we will get more. We'll do more. More is more. We will definitely be doing that.
We will continue to sprinkle more of these futures as they come in. But we
December
will have a dedicated future show come February where we will just go through a boatload of these.
But the level of degeneracy that we are doing I'm gonna go out right now and I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm gonna take the under on this. I'm gonna take the under on Minnesota. I'm gonna do a unit on the under on Minnesota, the over on Baltimore, and the over on Chicago on openers.
I've never been more excited to bet the White Sox in my life.
I can't believe that number is so. Yeah. So, all right. For Spencer, who was dropping some awesome hockey facts in there and also injuries, which is great. Spencer's a hockey player, so we love him. Also, Spencer, congratulations, Western Michigan, in destroying my Miami of Ohio future. They just smoked that team. Spencer is at Spencer_Ray. CJ is at Dads That Bet. We are Dads Bet Baseball and football and hockey. Handigraphs is handigraphs.com. Again, shout out to our friends at HOF Bets. And with all this being said, CJ, what is the final word?
The sheet is formatted.